Hi guys, sorry I'm away today, not feeling the best. You just need to make sure that you get all this work done because we will be moving on next lesson to the next topic. Alright, so those that didn't get a chance to watch the episode of Family Ties over the weekend, because unfortunately it didn't work out for us on Friday. I have put the link here. Alright, so we just go there. Alright, you don't want episode 4 though. You do want Engine Troubles, which is episode 17, sorry. Make sure it's the right one, so Engine Troubles. Alright, watch that, and then you need to go to Resources, go to your Handouts folder, and go to 4A, Representations of Gender in a Text, Family Ties. Alright, it is the next handout that you need to complete, which looks like this. Alright, so Season 4, Episode 17, Engine Troubles. Alright, you need to complete this worksheet. Alright, and then once you've completed it, come back to this video and you can continue on with the rest of the lesson. Alright, give yourself it's going to take you 20 minutes to watch the episode, alright, and then 25 more minutes, alright, to try and complete this as best you can. And then come back and we will discuss some responses. Alright, so a basic response like this would only be worth 2 marks, alright, because it only just touches base. Alright, so it's the representation of Elise in the episode of Family Ties, Engine Troubles, 1986, was shaped by the events and changes in society prior to 1986, such as increased numbers of women in the workplace and education. Throughout the episode, Elise attempts to show her son, Alex, that she is just as capable as any man at fixing a car by enrolling in mechanics class with him. Alright, doesn't really tell us too much about the society. Right, it says to describe it, and it only really just states something that happened. It doesn't give us any information. Right, and then it wants us to describe how that society has shaped one of the representations. Again, it doesn't really show us that at all either. Alright, so it's slightly touched base. Alright, so I've given it a mark for each part of the question. Alright, this expert response is a 6 out of 6 answer. Alright, so the first part is asking to describe the society. That is what it does. Alright, so in 1985, it was a dominant social value that women should have equal rights and opportunities as men. This prevailing attitude was reflected not only in a range of media texts such as Family Ties, but also by the 1985 General Social Survey, which found 86% of people approved of women working even if they had a husband capable of supporting them. In America, these values were a direct result of the second wave of feminism, which began in the early 1960s. The Equal Pay Act of 1963 and the Civil Rights Act of 1963 were also landmark changes, the latter banning sexual discrimination in the workplace. By the 1980s, there was greater equality between genders in America than ever before. It is this society, defined by increasing equality between men and women, that shaped the representation of Elise Keaton in the 1986 episode of Family Ties. Alright, so it's described the society that the episode Family Ties was produced in, and it's linked into the next part of how this society shaped the representation of in the text, looking at Elise Keaton. Okay, so in the 1986 episode of Family Ties called Engine Troubles, 1986, right? So every time that you reference a narrative text, you need to make sure that you do that, the year that it was created. Mother for Elise, again, whenever you name a character, alright, it is a good idea to name the actor that played them, or actress. As encouraged by her husband Steve, enrolls in an auto mechanics class to prove her son Alex that women can be just as competent with cars as men. Although Alex struggles to accept that his mum could have a higher level of knowledge and skill in this area, Elise attempts to show her son how the role of men and women in society are changing, and that women can fix cars as well as men. Alright, so even in the 1980s, even though there was still a greater equality between genders in America than ever before, there were still men that didn't believe that women could do things as well as men. That is shown in Alex's character. But Elise's character is there to prove that women can do things just as well as men, if not sometimes better. Alright, so it's answered both parts of the question to the fullest extent, so that is why it is a 6 out of 6 response. This is what you should all be aiming for while responding to any of the questions in a SAC or exam. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at a couple of movie posters. Alright, the response that I want you to give is worth 10 marks. Therefore, it's going to be a big chunk. Alright, you should write a lot when it comes to 10-mark questions. Alright, so asking, compare how gender has been represented differently in the movie posters presented on the next slide. Your response should make reference to appropriate codes and conventions. Alright, so the two movie posters that we're looking at are Creature from the Black Lagoon from 1954 and Tomorrow When the War Began 2010. Alright, just straight off the bat, without getting into the response, alright, it is clear that they are completely different in the way that they're representing gender. Alright, in the Creature from the Black Lagoon, we've got a damsel in distress. Okay, and we've got the male down here protecting, but the woman is sexualized at the same time in a bathing suit. Alright, where over here we've got a female in the lead, alright, showing us that she's in charge. Alright, in basic clothes. Okay, therefore we've got a bit of equality happening. Alright, it's pretty even the way that the rest of the crew are spread out. Alright, with a female in charge. So, sample response. This is, again, it's an expert one. It goes for a couple of slides. Alright, so there is a marked difference between the representation of gender in the posters of The Creature of the Black Lagoon, 1954, and Tomorrow When the War Began, 2010. The poster of The Creature from the Black Lagoon reflects the value that women are helpless and incapable of defending themselves. In the middle of the poster, there is an illustration of the creature from the Black Lagoon. His arms in it is a representation of the actress Julia Adams. Her facial expression is one of pure terror, lips parted in a scream. Her posture, too, reveals that she is a victim incapable of defending herself. The arms of the creature clamped around her. Her white bathing suit is particularly important. The color white is often associated with innocence and purity and helps to represent her as helpless. The difference between representations of gender in this poster is significant. While Julie Adams has been illustrated as delicate and defenseless, the men in this poster are represented as strong and capable. There are two men illustrated in the top of the poster. Their body language contributes to their representation of strength. The diver in the foreground has a knife clenched in his fist and his arm raised in aggression, whereas Julie Adams is dressed in white, the diver is dressed in black, in a black wetsuit with a scuba unit. This use of color contributes to his representation of strength. There is another illustration of a male in the bottom right-hand corner of the poster. He's hunched forward, wielding a gun. Guns are a sign of violence and aggression, which contribute to the representation of men in this poster as composed and capable in the face of danger. His lips are closed and he has a look of resolute strength on his face. In comparison, Julia Adams is clutching his right arm. her body language conveying fear. Her facial expression, mouth slightly open in shock, also contributes to a lack of strength in this representation. 56 years elapsed between the creation of the poster for Creatures from the Black Lagoon and the poster for Tomorrow When the War Began. During this period of time, attitudes towards women changed significantly in society. There is now significantly more gender equality in Australian and American society in terms of education and employment opportunities, which has led to a significant shift in the way that women are represented in media texts. The poster for Tomorrow When the War Began is a good example for this. The poster features 7 young people. However, it is clear through their positioning that the protagonist and the female character in the center of the poster. She is carrying a gun, which contributes to this representation of a strong female character. Colour also plays an important role in the construction of this representation. The poster is predominantly black and red or orange, and there is an explosion in the background. This creates the impression that the character is capable of enduring dangerous situations. There is a grim look of determination on her face, and she looks directly towards the camera. Alright, so that is worth 10 marks. Alright, so what I want you to do this lesson is make sure that you get the representations of gender in a text handout completed and uploaded to the ACOM task. Alright, and I also want you to give it a shot at answering the question for these 2 posters. Alright, I will see you all on Wednesday. I hope you have a good day.